I don't like you, Michael.
Well, that's coming across, and you still haven't quite figured out why I invited you here. After not inviting you and not seeing you anyplace else. But we'll get to that later. It's a remote cabin in the middle of a valley.
Welcome to Between Two Perns. My name is Jackson Dickert, and I'm joined here by Michael J. Sullivan. Thanks for being here, Michael.
You're welcome.
Michael, I've been really excited to meet you for a while now. I went to DragonCon in 2023, but you weren't there, and I only got to meet Robin while she mingled with your fans. And then I went to Dragonsteel Nexus's convention also in 2023, and I was so excited to meet you. But when I stopped by your booth, you weren't there. Robin was. So I guess, I mean, it is nice to finally meet you.
Mm-hmm. You didn't put two and two together and realize I was purposely avoiding you?
No,
Okay.
I'm putting it together now. I've seen you mention a couple times online that your best piece of writing advice for authors is that quote from Galaxy Quest: "Never give up, never surrender." The first book you ever wrote was a sequel to The Lord of the Rings, which you wrote when you were 13.
Well, I started. I only got a few chapters into it, yeah.
And then you went on to write 13 books without any luck in getting published.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably unfamiliar with this particular literary device. In the publishing business, we like to call that situational irony. Do you think the universe wanted you to write one unsuccessful book for each year you had lived leading up to this cardinal sin as punishment for your hubris in trying to write a sequel to The Lord of the Rings as a child?
No, but I like the idea that there's a certain degree of symmetry there. I hadn't put that together again, but that's pretty cool. I like that now.
Yeah. But then you gave up, right? You wrote 13 books and you couldn't get published and you gave up?
All my friends had all gone on to become professors and starting their own companies, and were all very successful, and I was right where I was when I left high school. So that was kind of depressing, so yeah, I didn't want to do that anymore, so I swore it off. I would never write again.
And then one of your earliest series of stories had creatures called Fibbits. There's no other details about what these creatures are online. Is this because the Fibbits description is as stupid as their name?
No, actually, that was a thing I did in high school as a cartoon. I did a comic strip, and yeah, that was just mostly made up by let's see, what was the time? I was probably 14 years old. And I was not even allowed on the journalistic, panel at school. I actually was pretty much looked down upon. Everyone who worked on the newspaper found out that I was doing a comic strip for it, and they went, "Oh God, no, please, can we not have that?" When I quit, because I was fed up with all the trash talk, turned out most of the school actually only bought the paper because of my comic.
Wow.
But I didn't know that till later.
So you were looked down upon as a child, and now nothing's really changed.
Well, I'm a fantasy writer. Yeah, it comes with the repertoire,
So when you returned to writing about a decade later, after the 13 books, you did it on the condition that you were just writing for fun, for your daughter, who is dyslexic, to have something that she would be excited to read.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife, Robin, read the books that you'd written and thought the world should read them too, but you didn't want to query again.
Yeah, I didn't want to even try to get published because that's like, hoping. And if you have hope, then you can have your heart broken again. And I didn't want to do that. After working on this thing for 20 years of my life and then 10 years of very intensive trying and getting nowhere, yeah, that was too painful to even consider anymore. I was just doing it for fun.
So you surrendered. You gave up, you started again, and then you surrendered. What about Galaxy Quest?
That was before the movie came out.
Oh.
And then I saw that movie and I said to myself, I've got to try again.
Oh, so you tried again.
Well, yeah. I had this idea in my head for a very long time. I just had to write it down. And like I said, it wasn't until Robin actually said it was worth something that I went, okay, well, maybe I should try again and put it out there.
Yeah, Robin queried your first published series for you and amassed more than 200 rejections, all while working a full-time job.
Yeah, and that was before I quit, I had a wall covered in rejections. So then she did that, but she didn't let me see those.
That seems smart.
Yes, it was. She's smart and I'm not.
I'm starting to pick up on that. She eventually managed to get it picked up by a small press who fumbled the book entirely. You got the rights back and were moderately successful at self-publishing, and you ended up getting the series picked up by Orbit for a six-figure deal.
That's correct.
Now, you've gone on record saying that you're proof the only way to guarantee failure is to stop trying, that this is a business that rewards persistence and almost everyone fails many times before they finally succeed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that everyone can win. I mean, it's like saying that everyone can play basketball, but if you're like 5'2", it's going to be a lot harder. You could do it, I suppose, but it's going to be a lot harder. But yeah, I think there was recently someone I saw, it was online, and they said, I believe it was Robin Hobb made a post, something along the lines of, "Why are you reading this post? You should be writing." And the person responded saying, "I'm not writing my book because I was told that you have to have a big online presence to become successful." And I felt just desperately tempted to write back and say, well, if that person, if you stopped writing because someone told you you couldn't do it, then they were right.
It does seem to me, though, that this isn't a business that rewards persistence. Not at all. It seems to me that this is a business that rewards marrying your high school's valedictorian and standing on their shoulders to use their drive and intellect to succeed. Essentially, you are 5'2" playing basketball, and Robin adds a foot.
Yeah, I got on her shoulders, certainly. Yeah. But when you say persistence, I mean, it depends on where you're putting your persistence. Is it in the industry, or is it, marrying a woman who's so much smarter than you are and actually living with that every day?
That's just a unique strategy that I haven't seen before in publishing.
It worked.
It's cool to see that the long-standing tradition of men manipulating and taking advantage of women is still alive. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, we've equally, fed off each other, because she made the money while I practiced, writing, and then at a certain point we switched, and now she's basically, kicking back and enjoying life while I bring in the money from working. Although, if you've ever met her, you'll know that she works now harder than ever before. I don't know why.
You've written all your books without any formal writing education. You asked Robin to marry you before you even kissed her, and in fact, you asked Robin to marry you before you even dated, really. Mm-hmm. It seems like you've got a real habit of putting the cart before the horse.
It's been working out, though.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Was this all part of a long con that you figured out, if I find somebody intelligent enough, you don't need to get a formal education in creative writing. You could just clap your hands and wait for your loving, devoted wife to make all your dreams come true.
See, that's where you're getting confused. That makes me seem more intelligent than I am. We've already established that I'm not that bright, so I'm not really going to be scheming that far in advance. That's asking way too much of me. Robin could do that.
Historically, you've contributed two major aspects to your publishing efforts: the story itself and painting the covers. Presumably, you only painted the covers because this happened to be the one area that Robin was less skilled than you. However, you don't paint your covers anymore. Did you just get tired of working hard and found somebody else to do that for you too?
Yeah, I figured, when you start as an author, it's because of several reasons. One, you generally don't like people. The other one is that you are lazy and you don't want to get up every morning and go to a job. So you can see a consistency here where you just kind of want to skate through life, but you also want to be successful and have people envy you. So that's a good way of going about it.
On all the new versions of your cover, the two dudes on the front are giving me fuck me eyes.
I think that's between you and the book.
I was confused about the artistic choice until I realized that your books are basically just a fantasy retelling of Brokeback Mountain.
That would be a pretty good description for a lot of the fan writing that they do. Fan fiction, that's the word I'm looking for.
I haven't read any of your books. I just read the fan stuff because it's much better written.
There's a lot of shipping going on, and I actually can't keep track of all of it. But yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't know why that good. Maybe there's something latent in my writing that I'm not aware of.
The two characters the books follow are named Royce and Hadrian, but they call themselves Rhaenyra.
I am first to have to stop you there. Kudos, you got the pronunciation right.
You
must have been watching a lot of videos of me talking.
Yeah, I think I lost a lot of brain cells doing it too. I think it's so cute that they have a couple name. Mm-hmm. Do you and Robin have a power couple name too?
Not that I've been attributed. I don't think you can give yourself a name. You have to be attributed a name, don't you?
Okay, that's perfect, because I've got a couple of ideas for you.
What do we got?
Badman and Robin.
Cool.
Rockin' Robin.
Because the first one's pretty good because you can take it either way.
Right.
He's bad or he's bad.
I think your reputation speaks for itself. Robin's Quill.
Robin's Quill.
Just Robin?
Just Robin.
Robin is the only one who gets anything done around here.
That's a pretty good one.
So Kickstarter wasn't always the popular publishing route that it is today, and you were actually one of the earliest pioneers of the platform with the campaign you ran in 2012.
Yeah.
Michael, I just want to applaud you for your genius and your insight on this front. I mean, come on, as an early adopter, you were able to get in on this and be a part of the wave before it became oversaturated by lesser authors like Brandon Sanderson. How in the world did you come up with such an intelligent and forward-thinking strategy all on your own?
Which, because it obviously wasn't me, it was Robin.
Oh. So it was Robin. Robin did that too. She predicted one of the most popular and valuable platforms for indie authors and used it to help springboard your career to success even faster.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm kind of noticing a trend.
Yeah.
It's weird that your books aren't dark, but you have like a secret private group for readers called The Dark Room. Is this like a sex thing?
No, it's part of the book. I'm taking you never read my books.
No.
Yeah, I kind of figured
Just
that.
the fan fiction. What do you think about the royal family being financially supported by the government despite not doing much? Or more specifically, do you think established figureheads are essential to the ongoing success of a platform?
It depends on if the figurehead can bring in an income.
I thought you might say that. So just to be clear, Robin handles all the contacts and coordinates with the publishers, agents, fulfillment houses, distribution partners, copy editors, cover designers, printers, and publicists. She also sets up and administrates the Kickstarter. She also gives feedback and edits the story. She runs your beta reader program by absorbing all the data points readers give her and condensing it to spoon feed to you. Yes. Robin also does the literal editing for you by sending the books to copy editors and making the final decision on nearly all suggested changes. She also does the ebooks, the layout for physical books, reviews printer proofs, shipping to warehouses. So it's almost like you're a figurehead. You have your name on the book covers, but in reality, you're responsible for a relatively minor part of each project as a whole. And it seems like it would actually make a lot of sense to have Robin's name really big across the cover, and we could maybe keep a little corner for you somewhere.
That's actually kind of the impression that most people have with publishing. Actually, it comes down to that the writer who writes the book is insignificant compared to the people who get it out in front of a public. And that's probably the biggest problem in our industry. So thank you for pointing that out.
I don't think it's a problem. I think that's just reality. And if you have a problem with it, then you're the problem.
But if you have no product, how do they sell it?
You don't need a product.
You just sell the idea? But try doing that on Kickstarter sometime and see how much trouble you get in. There have been people who have sold products on Kickstarter and never fulfilled it, and you have an issue. I wouldn't go that route.
I'm built different.
I'm getting that impression.
I think you've been dishing out the wrong Galaxy Quest quote.
Okay.
The one you should be telling people is when Gwen says,
I have one job on this lousy ship. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it, okay?
Ever read the book, The Most Dangerous Game?
Yeah.
Okay. Hint.
That felt vaguely threatening.
I don't know why you'd say that. I'm just a literary buff.
Okay. I'm kind of nervous to say this next part.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
It seems to me that Robin does all the hard parts, the logistics, the editing, etc., and you just get to jot down your silly little words. So my next question is, if Robin is the one doing the bulk of the work for your books, why in hell am I talking to you?
I think that's a question you need to ask yourself.
Or I'll ask Robin.
That's an even better idea.
So, your husband slaves away, writing these super compelling and intricate fantasy novels. What the hell do you do to contribute around here?
So I do everything. Like, I'm not even certain why I need Michael around,
I don't think you do.
Maybe I could probably get an AI to do what he does, and then I wouldn't need him at all.
Well, I've got you here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of advice floating around out there. And since you've got so much experience, I was wondering if you could help me to identify what is good advice and what is bad.
So good advice is anything that I say,
Okay.
and bad advice is anything that disagrees with me.
Let's figure out what agrees and disagrees then.
Sure.
Show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell. Yeah. What about that? What does that mean? I've never heard that term before. What does that mean? Is it like POV? Because I've heard people say the word POV before. Is it like that? No? Show, don't tell. Let me think. Let me think what that would be like. Oh, so is that like you should draw pictures in the book rather than writing the words of the book? Would that be kind of like what would you do? You would like draw a picture of the scene rather than describing the scene? Is that show, don't tell?
Maybe I actually didn't mean this for writing. I'm asking about marriage advice.
Oh, marriage advice. Show, don't tell. All right. So let's see. What have I?
I've never heard somebody say show don't tell when talking about writing. So the advice I got was that once I'm married, it's important not to verbally nitpick your partner when they're trying to help do something. So like when it comes to stuff where there's a right way and a wrong way to do something,
Yes.
like loading the dishwasher, I should show her how to correctly load the dishwasher.
Women
not
love
tell
that.
her.
Women love that.
Okay.
Women love when men come along and tell them they're doing something wrong,
Okay.
and then they show them how to do it correctly.
Okay.
Especially if, and I know you don't want to tell, you want to just do the show, but if you also explain to them exactly why they do it completely wrong, women love that a lot.
The next one was write every day.
Write every day. Well, shoot, Mike does write every day, so.
To be clear, Robin, we're still talking about marriage advice.
Oh, marriage advice.
You're supposed to tell her she's right every day?
Oh, I get it now. Yes, yes. Tell the women that she's right every day.
Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
yes.
The next one was write what you know.
Michael doesn't know a lot, so I don't know how he could write what he knows.
Stop! He's already dead.
I would say from a marriage perspective,
The way I'd always heard it was like, if you mess up, then you don't hide it. You need to write it.
but you can't mess up because you're the one who determines what's right and wrong.
Oh.
So if your partner says, I'm mad at you for doing this, you say, well, no, I know what's right, so I can't be wrong. I can't make a mistake.
Okay. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, 45 years doing this, I've learned a lot.
The next piece of advice that I heard was don't use a long word when a short one will do. That you shouldn't apologize. You should just say sorry, because the time saved with a shorter word could be the crucial difference in stopping a fight in its tracks.
The problem is again, going back to this, you always being right, you should never have to say you're sorry. So that's even shorter. Saying nothing, saying a long explanation, or a sorry, which of those is better than nothing?
I knew I came to the right person. I had one more,
Okay.
which is don't edit as you go.
Don't edit as you go.
So if your wife is going about doing something wrong, don't edit her actions by telling her in the moment. Wait until she asks for help or give her feedback once she's done messing it up.
Yeah, I guess that would be somewhat individualized. I mean, I really like it when a man nips my errors in the bud, like really, really quickly. Like I because otherwise I will develop really bad habits, and if I
Don't look at the camera.
it'd be very
Don't look at the camera. Look at me. Look at me and not at the camera.
okay. It would be very bad if I got those bad habits in. So I think if I got
Don't look at
corrected,
your hand. Look at me. Thank you.
I think it would be very bad if I didn't get reprimanded right away.
Robin, you've got the skills, intelligence, and drive to
Yes.
make an author a New York Times bestseller.
I do. I have all those things.
What do you say we hit the road and we ditch the old man?
Hey, that sounds like a plan. Let's do it. Unfortunately, Michael would be poverty-stricken and probably living in a trailer somewhere with a dog if I hadn't come along and just made him the man he is today.